Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Building a Nation with Team Canada. And today we have for you the finale of the 2022 Major League Soccer regular season. Now that's quite a mouthful, but I'm going to try to do the best I can to summarize everything. Now there's no game today, so I just want to warn you ahead of time if you're not interested in what happened during the regular season and you just want to get to the playoff games, then that'll be next episode. But this episode, we're going to go over the league and everything that happened this year. I'm going to try to summarize as best I can while also giving you a pretty good picture of what happened. So let's get started. Supporters Shield, Atlanta United runs away with the league. They are the MLS Supporters Shield champions with 73 points. Ouch. They killed everybody this year. 22 wins, 7 draws, 5 losses, a plus 30 goal differential. So they were outstanding this year. A very, very talented team. We can take a look at Atlanta United real quick. You see here, they just look at these guys. They got some amazing guys. Somehow they picked up Jordan Morris. They still got the youngster Andrew Carlton, who's now made the USA national team. Gonzalo Martinez, Eric Remedi, Darlington Nagbe is still there. They've got Kamar Lawrence on defense. I mean, come on. John Kempen is their reserve goalkeeper. What's up with that? They still have Joseph Martinez. They're just top-notch. There's just nothing you can say about Atlanta United. They've got 2 MLS Cup champions, 2 Supporters Shield, 2 Eastern Conference championships. They're just, cream of the crop, cream of the league. There's no question about it. They won they were runner-up in the Champions Cup this year. Let's see what else. So 2021, they were MLS Cup champions. 2018, they were MLS Cup champions and Supporter Shield champions. So they've just had an excellent run in these, what has it been, 4 years? 18, 19, 20, 21, 5 years. So there's been 5 years, and they've basically won 4 championships, if you separate Supporter Shield and, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, they've been outstanding, and they really, really dominated the league this year. After that, the Eastern Conference, they were pretty good this year. They showed themselves well with both New York teams in the top 5. New York Red Bull with 66 points on the season. New York City in 4th place with 61. DC United 6th place with 58 points. But, the Western Conference weren't slouches either. Houston wins the Western Conference with 64 points on the season, followed by Real Salt Lake, LAFC. And then look down here, we got a couple of Canadian teams in 8th and 9th place in the Supporters Shield. Toronto FC bounces back at the end of the season to finish with 54 points, 2 points ahead of us, Vancouver. We finished, it was a wacky season, it was a wild season, 13 wins, 13 draws, 8 losses, only a plus 6 goal differential, and 52 points. This season, there's a lot of change, a lot of turnover in the roster. We won the Supporters Shield last year. It might have been a fluke, especially if you look at the numbers that Atlanta United put up this year. Because if we look, you see Atlanta United, as I mentioned, 73 points. They win the league this year. Last year, we won the league with 64 points. So you could say it was a bit of a down year last year in MLS. And this year, everybody bounced back. We would have tied for 3rd place if we had the same year this year. So the league just took a step up this year. We got a slightly larger salary cap, nearly $5.5 million salary cap. So everybody had room to make some deals and make some moves. And everybody in the league, I feel, got better. So it was a fun year, but a little bit frustrating because we had such success last year. And this year we kind of took a step back. But that was kind of my own fault. I made a lot of moves in the offseason to trade away some established guys so that we could get the youngsters into the lineup, because that's what this save is all about. This save is all about getting the youngsters ready to play for Team Canada. So if you look at from the end of last year to the beginning or middle of this year, we traded away our number one goalkeeper, we traded away our number one central defender, traded away our number one left winger, and we traded away our number one striker, our leading goal scorer last year, Sean Hundle. We traded him away. So that's, 4 pretty big pieces, and we replaced them with youngsters. So that's a bit of a reason why we dropped off, but also, as I said, the league was very good this year. So we can take a look and see how we got there. We can take a look at the schedule and sort of go through the season, the ups and downs of the season. We'll get back to sort of league stats and stuff like that momentarily, but I want to get some game footage in here, some highlights, and we can see. So the beginning of the year, undefeated preseason, we're looking good. We're playing in the Champions League early rounds. We're also playing pretty well. We managed to make it to the semi-finals of the Champions League, where we lose to none other than Houston, who happened to win the Western Conference this year, as I mentioned. So Houston's got an excellent team, and they managed to beat us 4-2 in aggregate. Now, this year's team, we didn't have a ton of experience depth, so it was hard to put 2 teams on the field that could be competitive the way we were able to do last year. So basically, we had to sacrifice the first quarter of MLS season to compete in the Champions League and get as far as we did in the Champions League. So you can see here at the beginning of the season, we kind of went winless. Well, we had 1 win in the first month of Major League Soccer. Well, I take it back, 2 wins. We won our first game against San Jose. So only 2 wins in the first month of MLS, and we got off to a bit of a slow start. But after Champions League, we bounced back. We had 2 really good months. We went undefeated in April, including a 4-2 victory over New England. It was outstanding. You see, Venuto had a goal, Schmidt Shom, Darren Sr., that's a name you're going to see quite a bit going forward, Anthony Jackson-Amell, striker we picked up to sort of replace Sean Hundle. But then Venuto is injured in that game, and that's another thing that happened this year. A lot of injuries this year, especially to big players like Venuto, who is hoping to sort of carry this team as being our big veteran offensive player. But unfortunately, he got a serious injury, foot injury of some sort, and he was out for a couple of months, and that was no good. It didn't matter too much right away because we were able to move some players around and get some other players in there, and we continued our winning streak until we lost a wild game to New York City, 3-4. Rocco Romeo had a goal, off the set piece. Andreas Brim, Russell T-Bert. But we lost in the 81st minute to go down 4-3. And, it was a bit of a setback, but not too bad. We managed to bounce back, win a couple of more games, all the way until this game here. San Jose, 3-1. Again, Darren Sr. with a goal. Charles Andreas Brim with a couple of goals. And after this game, we traded away, or we didn't trade away. Andreas got bought from us overseas to go play in France. And that had a bit of an impact on us. We'll watch the goals here, see what we lost and what we're missing after this game with Brim leaving. He was really a guy in the early season. He really came on and started to take control of this team. So you can see him here, a little cheeky header, catches the goalkeeper out of position to give us our first goal. And then here's San Jose getting one back just before half. Garza just sort of diving in. Great shot. I mean, that was a rocket shot. No way our keeper's going to stop that. Here's Brim getting the ball forward. He did this a lot. Gets it to Smith, another youngster we picked up this year. Back to Brim. Good touch. Good finish. Puts us up 2-1. And then we put it away. Darren Sr. getting it downfield to Smith. We'll talk about Smith in a minute. And he crosses it back to Sr. A little bit of luck there, but, Sr. had that kind of year. He was in the right place at the right time, and he got a lot of interesting goals for us. So after that game and after that, after we lost Brim, so at this point we're without Brim and we're without Venuto, two of our best offensive players, without Sean Hundle, who we traded away at the beginning of the year. Go on a bit of a bad streak here. We lost to FC Dallas 4-1, just get demolished by them right off the start. 3-0 at halftime. Well, we get one back before half. Jaguar gets one, and then, nothing after that. We had a crazy 4-4 game. Here it is, LAFC. I think I showed the highlights of this one before. Again, Senior gets a goal. Reed. There's Craig Smith with a pair of goals. Of course, Carlos Vela gets a goal. Horta, Janssen, all those LAFC guys managed to score. We get into the Canadian Championship, and again, it's a second competition, and again, we just don't have the depth to play in the Canadian Championship and in MLS. We eventually lose in the Canadian Championship to TFC. They eke one out, 1-0 away, and then 1-1 at home to take it 2-1. And it takes us a while to get on track. Last few games of the year, we have a couple of good games in there. FC Dallas 2-2. We should have won that game. But, our big game that sort of helped us clinch the playoffs was right here. 2-0 against Portland. Anthony Jackson-Amell with a pair of goals. We just played very well in this game. You can see the ratings here, lots of 7s. And it was at this point I thought, okay, maybe we got something here. Maybe this team can come together at the right time, and maybe we can make a run in the playoffs. We'll see. Here's Schmidt Chum to Senior with the assist, getting it to Jackson-Amell. Those two combined quite well this year. Senior and Smith. They played pretty well together, had a few goals. Here it is again. Senior getting it across to Jackson. Easy tap-in goal for Jackson. And, that was the game that pretty much clinched the playoffs for us. We did lose again to Toronto FC. That was pretty bad this year. We lost twice to them and had a draw, so, losing to TFC is never good. But we did manage to beat Portland this year. We had a draw against Seattle. Kind of struggled against a lot of our rivals this year. 0-0 at the end of the season against LA Galaxy, not so good. So it's been an up and down season. Not quite sure what to make of it. I mentioned all those transfers. We can take a quick look at the transfers. Transfer history. Early in the year, we had some nice small transfers. We picked up Zachary Broguillard, right back, 23 years old. He's playing with the national team. Played pretty well. The national team recently got him on a free. Got Jonathan Jackson-Amell, a guy who's also going to be with the national team. A really good sort of pickup that we grabbed from Scotland. He was sort of wallowing in Scotland, not really sure what to make of his career. We got him up to 3.5 stars. He's got 4-star potential. And, he's right on the edge of being national team level. So that's outstanding. Adam Melvin, we picked up on a free from our academy, young goalkeeper. He's made some dramatic improvements this year. He's got a couple of caps for the under-20 team this year at only 17 years old, so he's looking pretty good. Marcus Codinho from Fleetwood, we picked him up for $70K. Another on and off guy for the national team. He's got 6 caps for the national team. But the big moves this year were really the ones that we sent out. Zoltan Veda, one of our youngsters, sent him out for $300K. He was a Hungarian national anyway, so he's going to play for the Hungarian team. There's no chance he's going to play for Canada. Then there's the big move, Charles Anthony Brim to France, but look at that. He's up to 4 stars, value $7.5 million. He's going to be a big part of the Canadian national team going forward, especially with Davies, our normal left winger. He's been very fragile this year. Last year he suffered a horrific injury during our run in the Gold Cup, and it sort of plagued him this year, and he hasn't hardly been healthy this year. So Brim is going to be very important for the national team going forward. Simon Collin, we finally got a loan for him to Sweden. He's been playing well in Sweden. He's been improving, so that's good to get him out of there. And then, a couple of other loanees that we sent out. We made a couple of big trades as well. Let's see. So Theo Blair, we traded away to Orlando City. We'll probably get him back at some point. He's very unhappy at Orlando. There's the move we made to bring in Craig Smith. We sent out Jordan Faria. So one good prospect for another prospect. And we also picked up Anthony Jackson-Amel in that deal. So it's 2-for-1 deal. 2 strikers for 1 winger. And that kind of worked out well for us. Faria went to Vancouver. He went to Montreal in the trade. 21 appearances, only 1 assist. Didn't play particularly well. Meanwhile, Smith for us, see what he did. He had 19 appearances, 3 goals, 4 assists. So he played a little better, had a little more production. But we also got Jackson-Amel in that deal. He had 16 starts, 5 goals, 2 assists. So we got the better end of that deal this year, but we'll see going forward. We also brought in Shamit Shom from Orlando City for a second-round pick and a little bit of money, so that helped us out, gave us some depth at attacking center mid. We swapped a bunch of draft picks around. We did a bunch of that stuff. And, yeah, so those were our late-season moves. Early season moves, we sent out all those guys that I mentioned earlier. Let's see. Let's get back to the competitions. Let's get back to MLS. Take a look at some of the team stats, see how the teams stacked up this year. New York City, most goals in the league with 65. That's pretty good in 34 matches. Houston, of course, always prolific offensively. This year, doubly so, second in the league. New York Red Bull, Philadelphia, DC, FC Dallas had a good bounce-back year this year. Atlanta United, of course. And then, look at that, Vancouver, 8th in the league in goals, down a bit from last year. Last year, I think we were 4th or 5th in goals. So this year, we scored less, and that didn't help us out. Most headers, LAFC, they've got a very solid defense, so that's, to be expected. Best average possession, Atlanta United and Vancouver at the top. So Atlanta United 54%, Vancouver, DC United at 53%. Sporting KC also at 53. So that's kind of how we did it this year. We held on to the ball. Possession, possession, possession. We didn't score a ton with that possession, but we sort of run out the clock quite a bit. We were sort of 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of team where we just held the ball and tried not to make too many mistakes with all of our young players. Most tackles, first in the league. We're always try to be an aggressive team tackling wise, and each year our tackling has been getting better, and this year we were just really good. 90% of our tackles won. That's pretty tremendous. Least concessions, though, look at this, we're not on the list. We conceded way too many goals this year. That was our big problem. Got caught on the counterattack a lot. We got caught by set pieces a lot, and just our defense wasn't up to snuff this year, and our goalkeeping wasn't up to snuff this year, so we had some problems. As you can see, shutouts were not there. Atlanta United with 22 shutouts. That's how they won the league. Their defense was just incredible this year. LAFC next with 16. Houston's not on this list. They did it mostly with offense and fouling, first in the league in fouls. So Houston was a rough, tough team this year that scored a lot of goals and managed to win the Western Conference in that way. Most passes completed, LAFC. So you can see it's just weird. We had a lot of possession, but not a lot of passes completed. So I think that's a bad sign. I don't think we should have played that way for the most part. But we were really trying to figure things out with such a young team this year that it was hard to figure out exactly what we should do. Crosses, last year we were like second in the league in crosses. This year, nowhere. We just had nobody to cross the ball to. No established strikers. And it just, our wingers were in and out of the lineup so much that we couldn't get any sort of cohesiveness between wingers and strikers to get these crosses going. Best at hitting the target, not on the list at all. FC Dallas and surprisingly FC Cincinnati, who didn't have a very good season this year, but they were able to cross the ball well, so that's good. So some interesting stats, but definitely a down year for Vancouver this year. Just, we had a lot of shots on target. So but just our percentage of shots was not good. We didn't have the discipline, didn't have the technique, honestly, to score goals offensively. It just didn't work out. That's all I got to say about that. Let's see. In terms of individuals, we can check out our squad stats. Luke McGee, 28 appearances in goal this year. Let's see. The most on the team. Zlatkovic with 24 starts, had a goal. Not a great rating this year. Defensively, like I said, we got let down a little bit. Jaguar played a lot, 6.93 rating, not great. Darren Sr., 5 goals, 6 assists, 7.0 rating. So that's our leading goal scorer this year, 5 goals. That's bad. That's real bad. We had several guys with 5 goals. You can see here, Senior, Jackson Amell, Venuto all had 5 goals. But for that to be your leading goal scorer, sad, honestly, very sad. You can't even get double digits. Last year, at least, we had Hundle with 9 in the regular season and added at least 1 in the playoffs. So I think he reached double digits. So we're going to have to make a run in the playoffs for one of these guys to reach double digits. Craig Smith had a good season going until he got injured. Jack Chesser, another youngster who got injured. Franco Politi, a youngster who got injured. We just had a lot of guys injured. Vuk Stankovic, he only played 4 games this year because of injuries. Jonathan Jackson Amell only played 11 games because of injuries. Not everybody was injured, but a lot of our top guys were, well, not our top guys, but a lot of our youngsters I wanted to get in there were injured and just couldn't play. Tibert had 19 games. He was mostly injury-free this year for the oldest guy on our team, so that's good. He had 3 goals, 4 assists, 7.1 rating, Chester 7.4. So our midfield played well, right? Venuto, Tibert, Chesser, Shamit Shom came in, played well. Timoteo, after we brought him back from loan, he had 5 appearances, a goal, assist, and a very good rating. So he's basically come back for the playoff run. That's what Timoteo is all about. That's why we brought him back from loan. Even though he was playing well on loan and getting better, he's up to 3 stars now. We just needed him. We needed that veteran presence. This is the state of our team. 22 years old is a veteran on this team. We needed him, and he came back and he played solidly. So hopefully he can do that for us in the playoffs going forward. Let's see. What else should we talk about this season? We'll go back to the competitions. We can look at a few things. Major League Soccer. Let's take a look at season preview. Of course, we were predicted 16th, 300-1 odds, so we beat expectations again this year, and that's pretty good. That's what we wanted to do, always beat expectations, and you can see the board just wants us to reach the first round, and here we're in the first round, so no good. No problems. We got board confidence set. Board confidence up here was just mid-table. We finished 9th, no problem. Canadian Championship reached the finals. We did. We were runners-up to Toronto FC. So, no problems with the board this year. We did make a few requests of the board. We're going to buy BC Place, or at least we're going to try to. Currently, the plans are in motion to buy our stadium. So that'll be interesting. We'll save on rent. It says that it will help us boost our reputation. So hopefully that works. I don't think they're going to let us buy a new place, but at least now we'll own the ground that we're in. And our finances have been fine. $36 million. We got a boost from Davies, got sold again, and we got a piece of that sell-on clause that gave us like $10 million bucks. So that was pretty good. Let's see. Back to the competition. It's kind of on all over the place right now, just trying to fill in everything that happened. The awards season hasn't happened yet, so we don't know any of the award winners for this year. There were, let's see, coaching movements. We can take a look at the coaching movement. Some interesting stuff happened at the end of the season. So after we beat Montreal, they fired their coach and brought in Giovanni Savarese. Look at this guy. Venezuelan, pretty decent. He's a pretty good head coach, formerly of DC United. Couple of seasons there, a couple seasons at Portland, New York Cosmos. So he's been around the block. Let's put it that way. And he's a decent coach. Hopefully he can bring Montreal up because they had a pretty bad season this year. Columbus, Morobello, he left the team for an unconfirmed reason. They hired Brian Schmetzer, 60-year-old American, formerly at Seattle. Head coach in 2016, and before that, interim coach. He was definitely entrenched in Seattle before that. Came over to Columbus, became a coach, then interim head coach in 2020. Kept that interim for a while, and now I guess he's back as the head coach at 60 years old. He's pretty good. He's a good man manager, tactical knowledge. He looks okay. Let's see. Seattle also made some moves from a caretaker to Jesus Vera, another Venezuelan, formerly chief scout at FC Dallas. Interesting move to go from scout to head coach. But he looks okay. I mean, he's disciplined. He's going to judge the players very well. It's just, I don't know about this guy. He's got some head coaching experience at other places, other nations, but this is his first time in MLS, so we'll see. It's a big move to go to Seattle. Like, that's going to be a hot seat. Seattle doesn't mess around. You got to win there or get out. Let's see, New England. Fabiano is out. They had a caretaker, and now they've got Jason Bent, 45-year-old Canadian. How about that? Formerly head coach at TFC in 2019-2020. Before that, he was a heavily entrenched coach at TFC. Spent many years there. Went to Atlanta United for a couple of years. Didn't last there very long, and then now he's in New England. See what he can do. Resurrect that program. Let's see. LAFC again. LAFC, I don't know what their deal is. They fired Dominic Torrent on August 22nd. So, final couple of months of the season. Picked up Zinedine Zidane. How about that move? There's a shocker for you. Former head coach of Man United, Real Madrid. This guy, obviously, he was a player before that at Juventus and Madrid. Famously in the World Cup. He's 50 years old now. He's formerly at Tottenham in 2021, and now he's come to LAFC. So it's a big move. He's a recognizable name. It's like an MLS move, let's put it that way. But he's very good. Can't say anything about him. He's probably got the best attributes in MLS outside of Zebu Nation, honestly. He's great mental, technical, working with youngsters, management. I mean, he's got it all. But it's just a funny name to be at LAFC. It's not one you would expect. So that's pretty wild. TFC, Jesse Marsch. We looked at this earlier in the season. He turned that team around. You got to give it to Jesse Marsch. They were not doing well at the beginning of the season. He got them up mid-table, playoff team. Good job, Jesse Marsch. So I think we looked at these other ones earlier in the year. So Yeah, a lot of interesting moves in MLS this year. I don't know that we have time to look at all the transfers, but hey, what else do we got to do, right? What else do we got to do? Let's look at the big transfers. So, Keaton Parks to New York City for $15.25 million. Nicholas Desia from New England to Bayern, $11.7 million. Matthias Jurgensen from New York to Copenhagen, $9 million. So, a lot of selling this year. Pereira sold from New York City. Here's an interesting one. From Chelsea to LA Galaxy. Oh, yeah, we looked at this guy earlier in the year, too. Tammy Abraham. So I think a lot of these moves we saw in previous episodes. So I guess that's pretty much it. Quick rundown of what happened in the season. Major League Soccer. Now we can take a look at, let's see. Not stages? No. I want to see the playoffs is what I want to see. How can I see the playoffs? There we are. Eastern Conference first round. Got TFC taking on DC United, Philadelphia taking on New York City, and then New York Red Bull taking on Chicago, with Atlanta United getting the bye into next round. Now, Western Conference, take a look at the first round. Vancouver, we get Sporting KC. That's a tough matchup. They're a good team this year. LA versus LA in the first round. El Tráfico taking place in the playoffs. LA Galaxy versus LAFC. That's going to be a big grudge match. RSL versus FC Dallas. That should be a good game, with Houston getting the bye into the next round. Take a look at Sporting KC. Finished 5th in the league this year. Marc Dos Santos is the head coach. Very good head coach. So it's going to be an interesting playoff run. Let's see how we did versus Sporting KC this year. Let's see. How many times did we play them? We played them early in the season. 2-2 draw. Okay, with Venuto getting both goals. Nemeth and Danny Williams scoring for Sporting KC. Pretty average game. Looks like we played the 4-4-2 against them in this game. So we played the 4-4-2. Got a draw. There's Jackson Amell. Politi, the youngster, before he got injured. Good cross to Venuto. Politi, of course, one of our academy players. Then there we go. McGee in goal. Nemeth with the free kick. Sporting KC. There's Russell making trouble like he normally does. Nemeth. Williams easy. McGee struggled early in the season. We even took him out of the lineup a couple of times for some of our 17-year-old goalkeepers. There's Venuto to Jackson. He's going to return the favor back to Venuto to get his second goal to tie it up late in the game, 91st minute. So, that was an interesting game. I don't know what that tells us. And then we had a 0-0 draw against Sporting KC. In this game, let's see, we played the 4-2-3-1. So we were unable to score any goals against them in the 4-2-3-1. That could tell us something. So maybe we won't, even though at the end of the season, that's what we were playing. But, yeah, so we played them early in the season. Haven't seen Sporting KC in a while. As I mentioned, they finished 5th in the Western Conference. So that puts them 12th overall in the Supporters' Shield. So they actually finished below us. 12 wins, 13 draws, 9 losses. So basically, they had one more loss and we had one more win. That's the only difference between us. So it should be an even matchup, and we'll see. All right, that's going to do it. Quick rundown of the league and everything else, and we'll get to the playoffs coming up next. So until then, we'll see you later.